Well, a pleasant good morning to you listeners and viewers, and welcome to the CCG Hour. Of course, you know it's Friday morning, and I'm really praying and trusting that you are well. And today, Friday, is just one of those days where you're just happy to be alive. Some people, of course, might not agree with me. They'll be like, oh my God, lady, another day to see trouble. But no, no, no. You know what? It's another day for a new opportunity, a new opportunity to do what you may not have been able to do a day before, right? A new opportunity for change. So it is a good day, and it is a day that we really should rejoice and give God thanks to be alive for. This morning, I'm not even going to stay too long, introducing, simply because we have so much to do, and I'm so excited about what we're going to do because I started to go through the information that I was sharing with my guests, and I was like, wow, a lot of it is so much what I never knew about. And I was like, you know what? Definitely, this is something that we need to get done. So, my guest this morning is obviously no stranger because you know that this is Third Friday. And whenever it's Third Friday, we have Ann Hopkins with us from the Grenada Patient Kidney Foundation. Of course, we're not talking kidneys this morning. What we're doing is that we are going to continue to talk about changes in life because for the past few programs we were looking at menopause. This morning we'll be looking at andropause. Interesting. So I just welcome with me Anne. Anne, good morning. And Anne is joining us from Brooklyn. It's rather interesting. My guests are coming from all over the world now, so that is even better. Good morning, Anne, and welcome to the program.
Morning, and how are you?
I am
I
good. I
am
am good.
without any ado, as I said, because I started to look, from the discussions that we've had, I started to look at some of the things that we have here, and I'm like, are you serious? I know the name, but I never knew that there was so much information concerning what some people might call male menopause. There's a proper word for it, of course, but let's go right into that because we looked at, of course, menopause, which is what we know with females for, I think it was about 3 weeks we did that, 3 months, well, 3 consecutive sessions. But when you began to tell me about this thing, I was like, interesting. So go right ahead and talk to us about this male menopause, or rather andropause. I'm saying
I,
it
I
correctly?
yes, I think it is very important. Um, this type of thing here, this male menopause, the andropause, because I in doing this I did some research and I have asked over 50 people, and only few people could have said men do have menopause, they don't have their periods, but yet
Right.
how do they have menopause? But they don't realize, and most people don't realize, it's a hormonal thing. It's not the menstrual period, but it's a hormone. What happens to your hormones when when you male have menopause and um female have menopause and male have andropause. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
term male andropause was first used in 1944 to describe various complaints of aging men,
Mm-hmm.
which mirrors the symptoms of women. They have the same
Wow.
type of symptoms. And why is men having the same type of symptoms like women? It is because it is hormonal changes. It's not
Mm-hmm.
cessation of the period, but it's the change that occurs by the hormones that work, evoke, and the body,
Right. So
male and female.
that mainly may be the biggest issue for most people, because from the time we
Yes,
hear menopause, we obviously just think, well, a woman's period has stopped, which of course is the truth, but
yes.
we automatically do not think that there is going to be any kind of similarity with men, because we just figure, well, men don't have a period, so how could we even consider introducing a concept of male, quote unquote, male menopause or andropause? But it's really just the decrease in hormones.
Hormone function, because in
Mm-hmm.
female is the estrogen
Mm-hmm.
that causes cessation of the period, and in men
Right.
it's testosterone that
Mm-hmm.
decreases and causes the problem. although both male and female has estrogen and testosterone, but it's at a different level.
Levels,
Male
right.
have much more because it's that gives the man his manly, shapely, hunk of a man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so that would start around what age?
Age 30.
Really?
Yes, that will age. It start declining. It start declining about age 30.
So, but when you say age, because you see, when you mention age in men, I'm
Yes.
thinking people begin to think that you're talking about an old man.
No, no,
Not
no, no,
necessarily.
no.
Oh my.
The hormone testosterone start declining. It peaks about age
Mhm.
30, and then
And then it goes, starts to go down.
1.4% it starts to decline.
Are you
And you must
serious?
remember that menopause, pause means it stop. So
Hmm.
it stop. But in male is the testosterone that decline. But although
Right.
it decline, it does not decline to zero
Right.
because it still have its function. The little bit
Okay.
that remains still have its function.
Hmm. All right. Okay. Well, see, no, there was one thing that I noticed when I was, going through some of the information as well,
Yes.
is that this word. The truth is that that word was very new to me. I had to go and check it out myself. I don't know
Andropause.
if I'm even correct. I'm pronouncing it properly. Is it gonads?
Andropause. The gonads.
Uh huh.
You see, both male and female have gonads. They will
Mm-hmm.
think of only male when they say male gonads. But both male and female have gonads. The
Mm-hmm.
male gonads is the sex glands, and they are located in the scrotum.
Okay.
Female gonads is her ovaries
Mm-hmm.
that is located in the abdominal cavity.
Okay.
Both
So
have gonads.
everyone will have that naturally,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
But and that is what so but that is not what is particularly being affected um when it's andropause or so. That
Is the
is
hormones. Is the hormones.
right. That's what I'm saying. But these glands, what exactly is just the fact that they're the sex glands. They don't really do. They don't have
Oh
a
yes, the
direct
gonads
bearing.
produce the sperm. The
Okay,
gonads produce the sperm, and the ovaries produce the eggs.
right.
In female, the ovaries produce the eggs, and in
Of
male,
course.
the gonads, which is in the scrotum. The scrotum is
Hmm.
what you call the balls. The balls,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
male ball
Of
is
course.
the
Hmm.
scrotum. So they produce the sperm, which when it
Right.
ejaculates, it comes out. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I am very interested in dealing with that age thing. I know we mentioned it, you mentioned it just briefly,
Yes.
that it begins to decline. Now, of course, with the case
Yes.
of menopause, it is a complete stop.
Stop. But you can only say you are menopause if you do not have your periods for 1 year.
Right. Okay. But in the men now, how will they, because the hormones begin to decrease so slowly and
Yes.
gradually over
Yes.
time,
Yes.
how
Yes.
will this man know that he has entered into andropause?
Well, he feels tired.
Mm-hmm.
He um he agitated just like the female. You know, sometime by the time 40, 45, they start having penile dysfunction. An erection is hard for them. So at that time they start losing muscle mass at that time, and then they're wondering what is happening to me. What is happening to me? I don't know. The wife may say become a potato couch, a couch potato. He only sit and he wants to do nothing. He become lazy. But because we do not understand the function of the hormones and the aging process which we go through, this is why this is so important. Um, 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 Menstruation and everything is very common, but do we know the function? Do we know acts on our body as we grow older. So if we understand how it acts on our body, both menopause and andropause, we'll be able to deal with it in a less stressful manner.
Okay. What we can definitely do is look at different signs, particularly, you know
Yes,
what I mean? Because I'm
yes,
really interested in that. So I think we can start with the one that I believe will bother men the most. And I
yes,
see you have it as both one and two. I'm thinking that most men pride themselves on being considered as studs.
yes,
I
yes,
can
yes,
perform sexually. So
yes,
this
yes.
whole concept of your sex drive lowering, where is it again? Is it the testosterones that because it's being lower that the sex drive is lower?
Yes, because of the low sex drive is the result of the low testosterone, result in low self drive to the failure to stimulate the nerve in the brain and induce sexual desire. When you don't have the testosterone level
Mhm.
that inside the brain has neurotransmitters which transmit the impulses to the brain. And then the men get hot and the men want to have sex. But at that time, when this testosterone level is lower, it cannot excite the brain. So therefore, you call what you have low libido
Oh
and
my.
low sex drive. And that's why female and both male, because when it happens to male, they don't really understand what's happening to them. And when it
Mm-hmm.
happens, and when the female most time at her age, 40, 45, with her husband, he cannot have sex as he used to, it brings problem. But once they do understand the process of the body, it will cause a less problem in both the sex life and in the everyday lives. Because they
Okay.
understand now what is happening to the body.
Okay. So let me ask you, as you were saying that a question, there is something that just came to my mind, and I'm thinking there are a lot of people who delay marriage. I don't know, maybe like in their 40s, they say, I want to make sure
Yes,
that I pursue a career first. I want
yes,
to do
yes,
this. I want to do
yes,
that. I
yes.
want to accomplish a whole long list of things. And then no, you get married. Most likely, maybe someone your own age. So you both get married maybe in your very late 30s or early 40s. And I am thinking that the chances are likely that this kind of discussion is not usually held in counseling.
No, no. And people afraid. Men afraid to say, women even afraid to say, I'm in my menopausal state. Because a woman 40, she's going into a menopausal state. And women don't speak about that. Men don't speak about they have a dysfunction. They can't have an erection. It's difficult for them. It's not all men, but all men testosterone. But it depends on how the man take care of himself. If he eat well, he exercise, he has a good outlook on life, he plays a better part on his sexual function.
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't have this and they don't understand what is going on, you imagine you're just married, maybe you never had sex before, you do it was, you're excited, and excitement also plays a part of the brain, give you the drive. If you feel tired, right, and somebody give you a drive, don't you tired, but you still go, right?
I see what here.
Yes, yes, yes. But it's the same thing. You just made it excited, and you think you can, climb Mount Everest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as time goes by and that attraction start to go down, two,
Oh
three
my.
years hence, you know, and you start feeling well, ah, and you start feeling well, you don't stand up as straight as it used to. It's getting
Mm-hmm.
flaccid a bit, it brings problem. But if they understand the process, they
Right.
will understand it's not sex that make life, but the love and what happens that really makes life. Because we
Okay.
can much, I'll leave that
At
there.
least you could work. Well, we'll be going into it in a while because I really
Yes,
do believe that the next thing, because it's one thing to have low sex drive, which of course um, can even be affected. I'm taking it that based on what you say, that we can also add that fatigue, because if someone is very, very tired, yes, of course, as you said,
Yes.
even if you're tired, you could try. But generally, there are some people who, whether male or female, you kind of have a one track mind. Look, I'm really tired. I need to rest.
That's right.
So, in addition to, let's say, overwork, if you already have a low sex drive and then you are overworked, whatever your job might consist of, could it very well be that the next point we are going to look at, which is erectile dysfunction or impotence, could it be that even fatigue, and I know for sure that there are some medical conditions
Yes.
like diabetes will affect
Will
that
affect
well,
high blood
but
pressure medications do affect that. But that's a medical condition adding to the low testosterone.
oh Lord, well then things really bad now for that fella. Because
Yeah.
if he on okay, so imagine if he has diabetes, right? And then he is possibly, taking medication for, so he has multiple,
Yes. Yes.
conditions. And then he's taking thing for medication for high blood pressure, as you say.
Yes. Yes.
And then you're already having this decreased testosterone business taking place with
Yes.
you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What are the chances for this poor guy?
Well, he still tries. He still tries, but it decreases a lot, and it brings a lot of problem to him because you see many men go to the doctor, and the doctor never explain to them. You are diabetic. You are taking diabetic medication. You are high blood pressure. You're taking high blood pressure medication. Your testosterone is decreasing. So therefore, these three things are even more play a part on you decrease sex drive. So once you understand the function, you see, it's one thing for something to happen to us, but once
Yeah,
we understand what is happening to us,
yeah,
it
yeah.
enlightens us to take different courses, to
Correct,
go a different
correct.
way.
My word.
Eat well, sleep well, exercise, discuss with your wife, other measures that you can do to make yourself happier than you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay. As we on erectile dysfunction, because of course we're using the term, but I really want to make sure that we clarify for people, because I know that a lot of people confuse erectile dysfunction with infertility.
Yes,
And I
yes.
would like us to really make sure that we make a very clear distinction between the two.
You see, erectile dysfunction is difficulty getting an erection. You have
Right.
difficulty. Sometimes it's not as strong as usual because remember, testosterone stimulates, as I said before, receptors in the brain, and that produces what we call a nitric acid, which helps to achieve and maintain erection. When
Right.
there is no testosterone, there is low nitric acid. The blood vessels in your penis is unable to dilate because that's what keeps going. So therefore, that causes problem because our brain controls control. You say so. It's you cannot have an erection, but infertility is when you are able to produce sperm. You are not fertile because you infertile because you cannot produce sperm. So erection dysfunction is when you cannot have an erection due to several facets, due to
Right.
several factors, whether it's medical or surgical or whatsoever. Because if someone has cancer of the gonads and that is removed,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happened. So, but infertility is when you are unable in male to produce sperm. And
All right.
infertility in women is when they do not produce eggs.
Right. Or they're just not getting pregnant for whatever reason.
What other ever reason
Right.
that they
Okay.
have.
Now, in a case like what we're talking about now, for for men, is it that erectile dysfunction will have different, is it that you have different types in that, because you said that in some cases it's that it is not as strong,
Yes,
so
yes.
he may have an erection of sorts. So
You
but
may
I
have,
mean, I'm going to ask, I don't know if it's as well, I don't think it's funny, I don't want to make it humorous, but can you have like a half and half erection? I don't
oh
know if I
yes, you can
know.
have and have. So you can say it's flaccid. It's
Who?
flaccid. It is
Oh my.
flaccid. Flaccid means it's flatter than how it used to be. It used to be like this. Now
Uh-huh.
it's like this.
Oh my.
You get me? So it's flaccid. So therefore he will have problem in penetrating because
Oh.
he cannot go in as how he should go in, with strength and
Of
force.
course.
But
Mm-hmm.
now it's flaccid, so therefore the strength is gone. So he may have to get a little help with you or with his hands.
Ah. Well, that
Because,
will take a lot of sex therapy and counseling,
oh
because,
yes,
and I think that is really what the challenge is for a lot of couples, because for a man who already is having, he's noticing that, that he's not getting an erection as he used to. That's one issue already.
yes,
Tell him from the time the wife begins to notice, or the partner begins to notice, hey, what's going on here? And I remember there was a lady, she came to me, and she was all harassed. She was like, Pastor, my husband is not, he didn't get an erection. I think it was about on 3 occasions, not consecutively, but close enough, maybe
yes.
within about
Sometimes,
a 2 3 month period.
yes, yes, yes.
And she's like, oh, I'm sure he's having an affair and whatnot, whatnot.
Oh,
And I said, hold on,
oh,
hold on. I said, how do you know that he has? I said, have you been looking? Has his schedule been busier? I started to ask certain questions, and she's like,
certain
well,
things.
I never looked at that before and whatnot, whatnot. And I started to say to her, but you have to begin. I said, first of all, have you all even had a discussion? Well, that was part of the problem, because from the time he realized that it wasn't happening as it should, of course, that turned into a big argument, because the first thing she did was accuse him of having an affair.
Yes,
Because,
yes,
of course, she felt,
yes,
oh, because
yes,
he's obviously
yes.
having an affair, that is why he is no longer attracted to her. And
Yes,
so he cannot get the erection again. And of course, well, as I said, I went through a whole process. Um, they for the time that has gone, it seemed like, they were okay again, and based on what we would have discussed. But I'm introducing that because I really believe that couples ignorance is a leading factor of what causes even further problems for a male that might be having, an issue of that, because and a lot of the times I don't think that there is sufficient patience and love in the relationship to do like what you just suggesting there, which is, for example, for the wife to guide,
yes,
that
yes.
I don't know that most people are taking that kind of time to really learn each other enough and genuinely wait and discuss, and you understand, and that is a definite problem. Now in Grenada, though, I just want to ask that quickly before we continue, as we continue. Do we have in Grenada any clinic or so which deals directly with male with impotence in male, and really genuinely assisting couples in that area? Do we have that in Grenada?
I don't think we have that, and I think that we should speak to that. We should speak to that. But if even we have this, um, will the men go? Will the wife go with the wife to have counseling?
Well,
You
that's the
see,
other thing
another
again,
thing
because of course it's so taboo.
taboo. Another thing again, you notice that men fail to tell the wife, she noticed we having a problem, blah, 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 blah. But when they have a quarrel, she said, boy, you don't know man no more. You don't know man no more. You can't even
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
So
So that
that
doesn't
is
help.
a problem that don't help. But if
Mm-hmm.
she know what is causing the problem, that if
Mm-hmm.
you cannot insult a man ego because man have ego, and you know they
Oh
still
yes.
drive in
Oh
their
yeah.
ego.
It's all directed to,
That's
yeah.
That's right. So if you're going to
Yeah,
have a little quarrel, just say, oh, go on, you don't man no more. You don't man no more. You can't even have sex. You can't even have an erection. How do you think the man feels?
yeah.
So this is why women have to learn not to degrade. When it was hard and stiff, you was enjoying it. You have to go with the flow. You have
Yeah,
to
there
go with
was,
the
yeah.
flow. Yes.
Well, I think for many people, though, there has not been sufficient exploration of other ways that within the relationship that they can genuinely, you know, get sexual satisfaction without, of course, adding in somebody else into the picture. You know what I mean? Where they can really work together to help the situation that is there. But let me ask this question before we take a little break
Yeah,
because we've
before
been
you go
speaking for
further,
quite a while. Yeah,
before
go
you go
right ahead
further,
first.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
this is why counseling is more important. Not counseling to treat your husband this, treat your husband this, but they should go to a person who can counsel them and the life changes and what to
Right.
expect as they grow older. And I think we don't have this. We don't have a pastor. We don't have someone that will counsel them through life changes. Your breast song. Your breast song just as how your penis song. You understand?
Yeah,
What's the difference?
definitely.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. What I was going to just mention though is when men have this issue, is it that it is reversible? Can it
Yeah,
be, you know what I mean? Can it be fixed more? I mean, if it's, of course, especially when it's not because of medication and so forth, we're looking at the whole fact of andropause. So if it is just a matter of low testosterone and so, or
yes.
well, not no testosterone, but low and lowering testosterone, can it be really addressed?
It can be addressed with taking medication containing testosterone. It can be,
Ah,
but you have to understand also the side effects of
oh
the
my.
testosterone level that you will be having. So everything has a
Hmm.
balance, and everything.
Yeah.
So let's the men. All right, you go to the break, and then we'll discuss.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
definitely. So let's take that break and we'll be right back, or else we'll just be going. Well, clearly we wouldn't be finished. We wouldn't be finished today. So we wouldn't even try. We'll just go to as far as our time will carry us. And of course
Yes.
we'll continue
Yes.
the next time, right? So let's
Yes.
just take a break, viewers and listeners. We are taking a break and we are going to be right back, continuing to talk with Anne concerning andropause. And of course, the way the time is flying, we see just how amazing this topic is already being. So stay tuned with us until we are back.
You are my strength, strength like no other.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Thinking about your new home? Think easy. Think a Republic Bank Home Easy Loan. Think affordable. Think convenience. Think Republic.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3. Republic makes home easy.
Wow, that was such a breeze.
Own your home with ease.
So whether laying that first brick or purchasing an existing home, we've got you covered. Republic Bank will get you those keys hassle-free in no time.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Drop by any one of our 8 locations today. Getting your new home is easy with Republic Bank.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
You are my strength, strength like no other.
Well, welcome back. And for those of you who have been with us for the entire program, I am chatting with Anne this morning, and we are looking at andropause, which is what people will usually say it's male menopause. Of course, you can't call it male menopause per se because men do not have a period, but all it means is that there is this lowered testosterone, because we know that is the dominant hormones in male, and so there is that decrease there. And so we're looking at some of the things that happen. If you're just joining us, of course, well, you can easily catch the program again. You can be able to view it on our Facebook page and so forth, but we continue right away to talk about this. So Anne, go right ahead. I remember you were making a point that this is a really real issue. It's not something we just thinking is a good idea to talk about today, but it's a real issue affecting families all over the world. And I'm sure as people get older, obviously, it is more and more so becoming an issue.
Yes, yes, because it's not talked about. Men don't talk about this problem, and they're ashamed to even. And sometimes they hide and go take Viagra or take this medication they make out of Viagra. How you call this medication that they use in Grenada? The bush there.
Oh, you mean Babande?
Baba Day or something like that.
Ah,
And they
okay.
hide and take this and then
Ah.
have an erection. And not discussing the problem with the sex
Okay.
partner.
So, but if for Babande already works?
It do works, but
Uh-huh.
it's a dangerous practice.
Because is it that people, because I'm taking it that you must have doses or that you shouldn't possibly be taking this thing every day?
I don't know if they take it every day or not, but I know most men do because most men speak about it.
Uh-huh. Oh
Most
my.
men speak about
Okay.
it.
I think I will have to get a man here. Well, maybe not, certainly not today, but we will certainly have to
I
get.
think we should.
No, we will. We definitely will have to. We'll have to look into the possibility of getting a male to be able to speak, to join in this
Yes,
discussion.
yes,
Somebody who will be bold enough to come
yes,
and we can really talk about this so that we can have a balance even in the discussion. So I will definitely be looking into that. I have a question that I believe people may just be thinking to ask. I don't know if it is a question that there's much research on, which is one thing to have erectile dysfunction, which of course is the ability to get an erection, for the penis to become erect, to get hard.
yes,
All right,
yes,
but
yes, yes.
what if you have a very small penis now? Does that have anything to do with hormones and so?
No, no, it could be because people born with different size of breasts,
Right, of course.
people that with different size of penis. I know a child, that child at least had sickle cell, and he was about 8 years old, and he had a penis bigger than a grown man.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
some men are born without a penis.
They're born without.
Definitely.
Oh my.
Some of them born without testicles,
Right. I
and
suppose
it's
I never thought
different.
of the. Mhm.
You never thought of that. Okay, but I have it at the back to describe what type of disease it is.
Because you see, again, I believe there's the whole concept of our sexuality, because there are certain things that people just choose not to discuss. Instead, we make a joke out of it.
Yes,
Instead
yes,
of being able to deal with the, you know what I mean, the real issues.
yes,
Because
yes,
I know of a couple that, of course, the husband had a very small penis, and obviously that became an issue in the relationship because, well, it wasn't handled properly. They weren't counseled properly. It just simply wasn't handled properly. Um, but as I said, I just wanted to make sure that again that we have a very clear distinction. So
yes,
size
yes.
has nothing, because even if it is small, it doesn't mean that it will have a problem with becoming, with
Erecting?
an
No,
erection.
no,
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 it's
no,
just small.
no. No, it's just small. It's just unlucky he was not endowed with, you know,
Yes.
much of the.
Okay. I suppose he will feel that he was unlucky. Yeah,
Yes, he will
definitely.
feel. He will feel. But you see, this is why um, you have to discuss those things before you marry. You have to discuss this. You're buying a cat in bag, as old people say, yes, and you have not done your research. You have not speak. You have something that is abnormal. You are going into a relationship,
But
and
does he
there you
know
are
that it is
discussing.
abnormal?
Well, they should know because I show he may be age 20, 25 and dress, maybe playing ball, maybe playing or dress in front of other men. I show you look at pictures and see that he's a little bit under the normal.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be discussed because I know
Mm-hmm.
of someone that had a lot of problems. I think I said that before. When she born, she only born with a tiny little hole, just to pee, but the vagina was closed up.
Right.
In Grenada, we does not have at that age, maybe about 16 or 45, 50, to open it. It was not
Right.
open. So therefore it is closed.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the problem. And she had a problem because when she married, she did not tell the
So,
husband this.
but she was aware.
Of course she was aware.
Okay, you see, so I mean, this is crazy. I mean, it is because if you know you don't have an entrance there, you know that you're looking for trouble later.
You
I mean,
are.
that should have be something that obviously should have been medically attended to
Yes,
a
yes, yes.
long time ago.
Yes. This is why knowledge is the key. Knowledge and understanding your body. Both we female and male, we don't understand our body. Most times something happened to us and we don't take heed. We don't understand the complexity of our body. So therefore, sometimes we neglect some parts that we should not be neglected. Like a woman neglects going to have a pap smear or breast exam every year. She neglects that. And what happens? A man does not go and take a prostate exam, his cancer marker
Yeah,
every
yeah.
year. So what happens? Because we don't understand our body and what could happen to our body.
Right.
It's only now because I'm 85, 84. They said to me, well, no more breast exams, no more pap smear. And if we do a pap smear right now at your age and we find cancer, what can we do at your age? But they're looking at me and telling me this. Do I look as I need to have it removed because I'm quite sure I have much more years ahead of me. Don't you feel so?
Oh yes,
But
definitely. The way you be, yes, you do.
Yeah, this is the norm.
Yes, you do.
When you reach 70 years old, you can no longer have a pap smear. The insurance would not pay for it because you're already dead. That type of
Wow.
thing. So that's
Okay,
why
so that is the concept.
that's the concept, yes.
Okay, so let's go on to let's continue rather to look at some of those signs and the impact of this low testosterone. So of course we looked at erectile dysfunction. That's one
Yes,
thing.
yes.
Then what about the actual flow to the penis? You mentioned that, and I just wanted to make sure that I got it right. So the actual testosterone is what controls that.
Yes, that is controlled by the brain. That is controlled by the brain. So therefore, if the brain sometimes don't get another neurotransmitter, which is called serotonin, if the brain does not have that neurotransmitter, means the serotonin is transforming stimulus, telling it what to do. If that is not functioning because of low testosterone, then it becomes a problem. You do not get the blood vessels do not dilate. You cannot maintain a erection, and you have some type of dysfunction because of the serotonin, the neurotransmitter are not working properly. So it's the brain function. It's the brain function. It's not what's below it, but what the brain sends to that part of the body to help it functioning in a proper manner.
Okay. What about now in the case of men who have a low sperm count? I think we usually call it.
Yes.
Right. Is that only as a result of lower testosterone, or a man could just simply have that from since long?
Well, if you don't have any, if he doesn't born with what you call his gonads, his testicles, I think I have this rather. What happens? Because you remember the sperm is produced there. Okay.
Yes.
If that is not functioning, he will definitely have a low sperm count.
Right. But so like you do have couples where you would hear, of course, they're trying to have a child, And of course, they're testing to see why. They obviously check the woman. I don't know, but I find that they tend to check the woman first to see if it's, if the problem originates from her.
Yes.
But then, of course, they get to the male. So,
Yes.
is it that, I mean, from your experience in the medical profession, is it that you would find men who have a lower sperm count, men who are over 30, you would say, who have begun to have, okay, most of the time?
Definitely. Because when they do this sperm count, they ejaculate and they put this sperm in a container. And if you look under the microscope, sometimes they have the semen, but the sperm are so weak. They are able to fertile the woman. Sometimes you have a lot of sperm, but they are so weak. And as you go older, the sperm get weaker and weaker and weaker.
Oh my. And what can men do for something like that though? I mean, because we know we're talking hormones, yes, but is that where things like diet and so forth alone will come in, or not really much?
Yes, and they can get replacement therapy with testosterone. They can get
say that. Just repeat that.
They can get replacement therapy, injections. Testosterone is given by injection.
Okay, and then that should
replacement therapy.
Okay.
So you're replacing the testosterone. But it has side effects to that also. Too much of that can cause a problem. As too low cause the problem, too much of that.
Too high can also become an issue.
Yes.
My word. Okay, so other signs of andropause. We could have time, maybe I think we have enough time to possibly look at about 2, and then we'll wrap up. So we had mentioned muscle mass, loss of muscle mass, because of course we see so many guys trying to go to the gym, even the older ones now who forgot that they should have gone to the gym at 20. Now you're seeing everybody trying to look hot, and so they go into the gym and working out only the top. That's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
I think some people forget the legs need to be worked out as well. It's the whole body. But anyhow, how does the testosterone really affect just the ability to produce, or is it to produce, or what really happens there?
You see, muscle cells have receptors for testosterone. So you have a muscle cell and they have receptors, little prickle, that attached to the muscle cells, and they are called androgen receptors. Receptors. When testosterone are bound to those receptors, muscle fiber are maintained. So
right.
You have no testosterone, they cannot bind to the androgen receptors. So therefore, you will have no testosterone. And because you have they don't go to zero, very low, the fiber cannot be maintained. Just as how your breast in menopause, you have no estrogen and your breast gets soggy, right? The breast starts soggy and getting soft and flabby. So with the male, they will get flabby muscle mass, because remember the breast also is muscle mass, and she's flabby, so they get very soft and flabby because the receptors, the testosterone are not there to bind with the androgen receptors, which is another hormone. It's just like testosterone. Androgen testosterone receptors.
You mentioned.
Go ahead.
Let me just, as you said, I just don't want to lose my train of thought.
Yeah.
When we were mentioning, of course, with menopause and so forth, though, we mentioned, of course, that with menopause, though we're not focusing on that with, of course, for females, the breast obviously will, sag.
Yes.
But when we had children, that already sagged. So what's going on there? Is it just the breastfeeding that did the sagging?
It could be pulling on the muscles a lot. But I know a lot of women have babies, sucked for 2-3 babies, and the breast is still firm.
They're very favored.
Yes, they are favored. Yes. Because you see, everybody's made different.
Definitely.
Muscle mass is different. Some people eat different. So the muscle mass is stronger. You understand? and some that eat poorly, their muscle mass is because most women will wear, especially in our culture, they drink coke and they will eat a piece of bread and is that's not putting anything in the body when they're pregnant. They need protein, they need carbohydrates.
There's a lot of protein, because of course it's protein to build muscle.
Muscle. So the protein receptors are not fed with the testosterone and the androgen. So therefore, you get this sagging muscle. Get this sagging muscle. The muscle fiber is not maintained. Muscle fiber is like when you cut a coconut, you see the fiber. Well, we can say as the fiber is strong, yeah. But if you leave the fiber out and it wets a little bit, what happens?
Yeah.
Yes, the thing that is there to keep it has been washed out.
Oh my.
So therefore,
But you see, I really believe that we have a lot of myths in our culture that needs to be disbanded, because I won't, honestly and truly, I won't lie. I honestly assume, and I believe a lot of people along with me, that as long as you had children, your breast has to follow.
no.
But that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You almost think that, because I mean, hello, you look at your granny, you look at your friend, you look at your mother, well, you look at yourself. Because I certainly don't have mountain peaks. Only bras alone that helping me out.
Yeah.
You know.
But you have to remember that also the sucking of the breast, and also as you grow with age, your estrogen falls down.
Of course.
You grow with age. So therefore, over a period of time, if even you had 3 or 4 children and your breast was up, okay, after
It will go down because of the estrogen levels lowering.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my word.
Yes.
I think you see this whole concept of aging. We definitely need to talk. You know what I mean? Because I believe that no wonder people are almost afraid of aging. And the truth is, look at the way our culture, our society, and I talk about our human culture and society have evolved over the years. Everyone wants to keep looking, quote unquote, young. And of course, I believe it is because of a fear of aging. Is the fear of your body not being able to function as it used to. And everyone most of us are resisting age. We resist, or not age itself, but what age can do.
Can do to us.
Yeah, because I mean, look at how much money is spent on beauty products. I mean, let's be real. Look at how much money is spent on. Yeah, I think that is the bottom line. Yeah,
I spend some on some powder. I spend some on some face cream.
Oh yeah. I mean, we do a lot.
Another thing in our culture. It said to me many times. I'm driving, and this young man will say, "Old woman, you still driving?"
Yeah.
But that doesn't affect me because I know I'm not. You cannot call me names to affect me, so that don't affect me. So I usually say you should be proud that an old woman is driving, and you are walking. So you don't let this affect you. But this is our culture. An old woman should not drive. An old woman should not have sex. An old woman should not have a boyfriend or a husband. An old woman should not. You understand? An old woman should dress properly. I understand. An old woman should conduct herself properly. An old woman, and what is old? Should don't act as a young stupid fool out there. But we have to know how we age, and we have to be. You see, we have to understand ourselves, and we have to have this pride within us, so that when we are speaking, we speak without any fear about getting old, and we speak without any fear about what is happening to our body as we grow old. This is why we should have ladies' corners. A few ladies, 3, 4, 5 ladies should get together every Friday night, every once a week, once a month, and speak about their problem. Speak about how they feel and I think Grenada, the world will be a better.
But maybe what we will have to definitely do, because I really like the idea, is one thing to identify issues and problems, my thing is always, are you, as an individual who's identifying it, are we able to bring the solution to it? So, because we know of a certainty that in our culture we do not encourage the real understanding and the examining of women's health now, or from that place, not just general health as in about cancer and whatnot. No, because yeah, but we talking about this year because okay, you would see a man that is going through andropause. Well, when I say you would see him, you would assume, right? And then that man, and I don't know if I'm wrong, but at least I'm looking at from my place where I sit, from observing that man seems to try to become young again, quote unquote. I'm taking it that the whole andropause thing is similar to the whole midlife crisis issue.
Yes, it is a midlife crisis issue because at that time I know someone personally that the wife died and when I saw them when they had their wives, they were okay, but as soon as the wife died, the hair was cut, the clothes was changed, the whole attitude was changed, and who was by their side?
Right.
Woman.
Again, it has to do with the whole concept of my sexuality, my ego, and all of it. Okay, well, would you believe our time is already?
Wow.
I know it's the fastest hour ever, but as I said, we are not going to be too worried about that. What I can definitely say to our listeners and viewers is that here, what we are going to continue to talk about andropause because we've only gotten to about 5 of the symptoms that men go through when they're experiencing andropause. So we are going to talk about that next month, God's will. And until we think that we've exhausted and shared sufficient information with you. But what I want to do is just encourage those of you who have husbands and brothers and uncles, any male in your life. Even if you started off from a very relaxed place, do begin to engage in conversation with them concerning that. Maybe by just asking, hey, you're getting older, boy. Have you considered some of the changes that your body will have to undergo? They may not sit and talk to you as though you are their therapist, but I do believe that at least it will give men an opportunity to begin to think and to re-examine, what is really going on inside of them. Closing words, Anne, and then we're going to end because, as I said, our time is already.
I'm extremely happy that this topic is being talked about because this topic is so taboo. This topic is so heated that men are suffering. Men are suffering because lack of knowledge, and they're suffering because they are afraid to the power next to the kind of sex as regular as it. The wife, something is happening, and she's saying he's wrong about with other woman. This is why you can't have sex with me, and this is so important for men to listen to and read about what the changes of the body. And I implore them, both they and the wives, sit down, as we say, and discuss the middle age crisis.
Amen. All right. Well, thank you so much. See you next month. God's will. Be safe as you are where you are in the States. Thank you very much for joining us because it really was a pleasure again. Listeners and viewers, thank you for staying with us and have yourself a really great rest of your day and an awesome weekend. Stay safe. It is the word of the season. Stay safe. God bless you. And goodbye. Thank you again. And God bless you and see you soon.
God bless you too. And thank you. And thank you for this program.
No problem.
You are my strength.